Okay, let's start. So this will be a session on what you can do with Enterprise Architect for, let's say, streamlining your workflow. So first of all, let's have a look at the project browser. I have here an empty model. So first thing to do, usually you hit F2 and you rename it. Something like this. So you can create views in there, and let's create a sandbox so we can put our stuff in there. It's a good practice to create a sandbox for all your experiments. You don't pollute your model with it. Don't know if you do it in your models. I create usually one folder for each person in the team. So this is my trigram. We could have others. Let's create a sample class diagram. Open it. And from here, we can already have a number of things to speed up our workflow. For example, if you are using this and then creating classes this way, of course, this is quite slow. So you could really avoid the use of the toolbox completely and just hit Control, right-click, and you get the list of tools available, and you can also go to any toolbox you want. So for example, I want a class here. I can create it this way. So new class. But this isn't yet the fastest way to do it. If you just created a class, you can do a Shift F3 and recreate yet another element. So you can Shift F3 your way through all your elements. But of course, this is creating a lot of classes on your diagrams, and you may not want to play with diagrams. You want an even faster way to create items. So you can go to your folder here and say add element. You can also do it from this little icon over here. So add element, and from here select the type you want, class, and say close dialog on OK, no. Well, add to current diagram, why not, but just keep it this way. And from here, you can just go through and create a number of things very fast here. I don't know if you create elements these ways, but that's very practical. You can also do it in another way. Just right-click the package, say package browser, and from here you have also a list, and you can also create items in this list very easily. So these are the ways you can just create items. Of course, we can now take all the concepts, move them on the diagram, add them all in a row. You notice that every time I created an item, I didn't got the property sheet displayed. So it's a good practice in Enterprise Architect to go to Tools, Options, Diagram, and here you would have an object, and object you would have to uncheck Edit Object on New, and also uncheck Warn about spaces in class names, because otherwise every time you write an analysis class like something with a space like concept A, B, C, D, you would have issues with the system complaining. So are these things elements you use regularly?
Yes.
Yes. Do you have other tricks for creating fast? Nope. Okay. So let's move on. To arrange stuff, of course, we could do it manually like this, but we could also use the layouting. So view diagram layout. Just close this window here. Move it on the side. And from here, how to arrange the layout. So let's say I would have a box layout, and I could rearrange all my stuff. Right. So these are elements, but now I want to connect them together. So I could also take this quick linker and create, for example, an association, right? And then do it again, do it again, do it again. It's quite practical. But let's say I have to do a lot of associations, but then you can create them very fast by repeating the last connector by doing F3. So F3, connect, F3, connect, F3, connect, F3, connect, F3, connect. So that's very practical, for example, on state diagrams, because there you create a transition and you can wire things together. Another trick in Enterprise Architect is, well, let's say my connection isn't between, oh, got a problem with my mouse, don't know why. Just wait a second, take another one, because it seems my mouse died just on me now. Okay, nice to have multiple PCs in the office. Okay, so now you want to rewire your connectors. Well, there is the usual option, like say advanced, set source and target, where you have to pick from where to where. But if it's on the same diagram, you can really make it faster. Just locate your mouse nearby an end, and you can really easily rewire elements together. While we are on class diagrams, you can also do the multiplicity now here directly from the menu. So, for example, 0n and 1. So these are very useful tools to help you create your models. On associations, if I say concept F relates to concept A, well, is it like this way of reading, the other way of reading? We can always put this little, where is it? Set direction. Where's this? Direction, okay, to destination, for example. And here I can move my association and the little black arrow follows me. That's pretty good. Also, when we work on, let's say, attributes and operations and so on, just always clicking to get the properties, go to the details, go to attributes, and then entering something, it's just killing us. So just don't do that. Just you can first do F9 and you would go directly to the attributes of the item. So say attribute 1. But then new and again, you can do something better. You can go to this element and inline features. You see you have add attribute, add operation. So Control Shift F9 would just help you add another one. There is even a faster way. You just type insert and you get new element right out of the box. So to create elements very fast, that's quite helpful. So let's say attribute 2, we want to define it, so click it there, just put a note. This is the explanation of attribute 2. And, well, I would like to show it directly here. So you could have this element inline feature create link node. So if you just create a link node here, you can on a diagram show what is in these nodes all around. So let's say attribute 3, I would like to create a link node. You can do it directly from here. That's an interesting thing in Enterprise Architect. You can do a lot of things from a lot of different places. And from this attribute, what you will write in here is going to be shown. Of course, you need a save or reload your diagram. So maybe I store it somewhere incorrectly, but if you close the diagram and you get it back in here, it should be displayed. So that's a little glitch in here. So while we are on diagrams, let's create a new item, control right click, another class or another interface. You see we have this little star here, which says this diagram hasn't been saved. So if you click on the save icon, you would only save the current diagram, and you may have, let's say, 20 diagrams open and with a lot of things in there. You want to save them all, so you just can go here and say right click, save all, or you can also do window, save all modified. So these are the two places where you can activate these features. And maybe you work with a lot of diagrams, but how to go from one to the other if you have quite a number of tabs expanding just very far? Well, you can, just like you do Alt-Tab to tab between applications on your PC, you can just Control-Tab your way through diagrams. Right? So here, you could go from one diagram to the other. You can also click on it very easily. So just your left hand using it to connect on diagrams. On diagrams, an advanced feature is also how to print diagrams neatly. So you may have a large diagram and you want to print it properly. Just access the properties of the diagrams. So right-click Properties or F5. Just F5. You can go to this Diagram tab. Inside the Diagram tab, you go to Advanced. We need to dig a bit, and say Scale to 1 page, for example, and Page Setup. Let's say we want a landscape view. So that's how you can put all your diagrams directly, and if you do a print preview, it will be fit into 1 page. Of course here I just have 1 page, but that would work. An interesting advanced feature you can use, and it's quite helpful when you do database work, is having, for example, an attribute here, just sample, and you want to connect this very attribute to this very attribute. So sample attribute here has to be connected to attribute 5, and not generically the class, but just the attributes. And this is a specific feature here when you do a link to element feature on a connector. So link to element feature, I want to connect to an attribute and I want to connect to sample. So concept F sample, you see, this is a little bracket here that shows you that you connect sample here to the concept. It's something different than a qualifier on a class. It's just the attribute itself. So it's very useful when you are modeling mappings. So I do a lot of mappings with clients, and that's really a good way to do this. So for example here I have my concept F sample, which is connected to my concept A attribute 7. So let's remove some elements from here. And I have my concept A. I would like to connect all the related elements. So first, if you do a view relationships, here you have all the relationships that are connected to your concept A, and you would like to display all the elements that are connected to it. Just can do a right click and add related elements. From here we have a dialog which is not very intuitive. Insert elements to one level for link type and so on and so on. Just say OK, it will just connect everything it knows. So, and from here I got connected back to my concept A all the items that were linked to it. So just a little layouting, like box. Well, box may not be the best in town for this, but it's already neater. And you see that it has connected all the features together. Okay, So you see, I am here working on my diagram. Let's say I delete class 4. Well, damn, that's not what I wanted. Just want to undo it. Yeah, I can undo this, but if I had saved my diagram, well, no way to get it back. So that's really an annoying thing. And for this, we want to control our elements better, and that's where the super undo feature enters, and it's called here the package control. So if you do a package control, you can say package control configure. It will ask you, well, you want to control this package. Where do you want to save the content of this? I would say, well, put it into in this domain. I would say my PBK package is fair enough. Save. Okay. It will use the XMI import-export feature to get this under control. So if you look here under package control, you have an interesting bit which is save package to file, load package from file, and with the shortcut Control-Alt-S or Control-Alt-L. So if I say, fine, I'm here, I would say Control-Alt-S, save my stuff. It has taken my package here and saved it into an XMI file. And if I start deleting elements from here, I can save because I am explaining to a colleague or I'm doing an experiment, and I can reload directly what was there before. So I am back to where I started. So it's very useful as a super undo. And it's not polluting your repository with baseline content. Of course, you could always create baselines on your packages. So if I say package control manage baselines, here I could always create baseline, but you see putting the package under control has nothing to do with baseline. It's an orthogonal feature. So let's create a baseline anyway. And from here, I could also use this delete and save and so on, and get back into my baselines and say restore to baseline. Of course, it does the same effect, but the issue is that here my baseline is still in there. So I could delete it and so on, but that's not really what I need. So right there. Let's move on another little feature which is quite useful. It's in a toolbox, or we can do it with a shortcut. Just have the slow mouse here. Come on. Oh, anyway, control right click, toolbox, common. And in common you have this diagram legend. It's a very interesting little feature when we can add color coding to our elements. Set 1, set 2, let's say white, no, not white, but let's say it's kind of green. Okay, and so I can start painting my classes with a kind of explanation. That would be okay, but if I add a meaning to these classes and I want to have always the same color for a concept, I could start creating new stereotypes. So if you go to settings, UML types, you get this window here. And this window here is about stereotypes. And if you use the party, play, thing, moment, interval, and role system that was popularized by Peter Code, you could say here, oh, this is a party. And the party has to do with a class. And this would use the default green color. And here, if I give a stereotype, and to give a stereotype, it's easier to go this way here. And if I say this was a party, just if they could make it easier to sort all these things at Sparks. I don't know if you have a trick, but doesn't seem to find it. But anyway, easier to do this. So this will turn green. And so could say from my Legion, because people would not always know what these colors do mean. Do you use Legions? Who is using Legions on his models? Nobody? Are you still around? Hello. All right. So it's just a bit weird speaking in the void. So, okay, then a very important window that is to be understood is the, status is quite good as well. You could use also diagram filters with these legions and so on. So what we are going to look at now is the resource window. So if we go to the view, more project tools, project resources, we got this resources window. So a very interesting window where the important bit is the documents. There's a lot of matrix profiles and so on when we can really quickly find back our stuff. So let's say, just for the sake of it, you would have a relationship matrix, which is here. So you would like to trace whatever here. Well, I will self-cross my sandbox to my sandbox, but anyway. I will open the EA example after that. So class, why are you here? And okay, I would ask for associations or whatever. I would have entries in here. And I am interested in saving this profile. So here, I don't know why it works this way, but I just right-click in the white space. I can take my profile and save as new profile. I would say and get this metric profile available. So every time I need it, just click on it, it opens. So for things like use case and supplementary or use case to features and things like that is very useful. So this resource window is very helpful in that regard. So for documents, when it comes to documents, let's say I want to document my PBK package. So the usual way is to right-click and say, okay, documentation, rich text report, get in there, right? From this package to this file using this template, I could generate. Okay, this one doesn't like, just sample doc. Okay, it's the usual heavy template from Sparks. So this gets generated. Waiting a bit. This isn't a fast machine. Okay, and then I can view the result in here. Fine. But I don't want to go through this process all the time. Just get this and there and fill in my box with parameters and so on. So the best is to create a resource document. So you could say here, for this package, with this output, use this template, and so name it class documentation basic, and then it shows inside the resources RTF documents class documentation basic. And if I want to view it, just open document and it will not regenerate it. So that's a good way to access things easily. I can of course generate document, but the best part is if I add multiple configurations from multiple locations. Here I have only one package, but I would say this goes to another location, and it uses maybe another template. I can create another resource document, right? And in my resource window, I would have both documents. And you can right-click on this and say generate all documents or generate number of documents. And from here, which one do you want to generate? Well, only this one or both. And OK. And there you go. It generates everything in a sequence. Okay, I don't want to have this generated again. Oh, I got a message about audio. Are you still in there? Audio okay? Just have to check to be sure. Okay, looks like it works. So then on documentation, this is only the beginning because we could do much more. So here I would open the sample project from here. So there is a bit more to do. All right. And let's say create my own area. Okay. And I would create an extended documentation diagram, because what I want to do is pick parts of this model and generate documentation from there. And here in the toolbox, I don't know where this toolbox is gone, by the way. So I could use master documents, model documents, and document artifacts. So what I like to use is a master document. Let's say my sample master. And for this document master, I want to have a heading and a footer from my company, for example. And here, for that, you could go to text values, because you can select a master document template. So very useful here. Of course, there you have only this template there, but we can create a new one. Don't know if I can create a new one directly from here. I guess not. So let's create a new template. Document template designer. Just say new. Okay, my new template, sample master. Okay. Based on master document. Where is this one? Okay. Audio still there? Yes. Just I got pings. All right. So in the master document, I could type whatever I wanted. Then say for my sample master, I'm going to use my basic sample master here. And in there, I'm going to put additional documents, and there I would put model documents. What is a model document? Let's say part 1. Use cases and other stuff. Okay. And from here, I can pick parts from my project. So let's see here, I would say software, no, not software, analysis. Well, I don't know where in this model is the, maybe, not really. No, right here. So I would take this use case model, drop it in here, and I want to put some additions on, let's say, my business processes or something like that here. Okay. And I would say for this part, I want to use a very specific template. And I could say, for example, here, a use case template. Oh, you didn't know about this one? There is more to this. You have here two things, but you can have another model document. I would say part 2. And here, I would take some classes from my structural diagrams. Okay, there is something in here. And from this one, I would use another template. So, let's say, don't like basic, but let's say, well, diagrams would do it. But the best part is that you aren't limited to the structure that you have in packages here. So let's first save this one. Okay, and from here, you want to generate documentation for this sample master. To do this is a bit of tricky. You go to Element, and from there, where you say Rich Text Report. So from here, got this. I would say full doc. Oh yeah, I would say from here, full doc. This full doc, and I would save it as a resource document, all of my spec, for example, and I would generate it, and so it would go through all the parts. So here is doing part 1, use case and other stuff, and then it would do part 2. And these elements, you can reorder them the way you want in the project browser. So very useful to create documentation. So let's have a look at this. So here you see my master document was this one here, and I would have all my parts. So use case and what was in the use case template, and then I move to everything that was in there. Okay, okay, okay. And then I would have my business process part, which is inserted as well. So it's very useful. For example, here you would have in these packages, let's say, not abstract class, but in the business process bit, which is here, and I would say, Dan, where is this package? Don't remember. So you can always do Alt-G. So Alt-G, you find back stuff directly in your model. So that's very, very cool to do. You have another possibility. Let's say I want to find out all requirements that are inside this project model, and I want to generate a document based on the requirements template directly here. So I could do a third part. So let's say part 3. Oops, come on. Part 3 requirements. Part 3 requirements. And if you noticed in this tagged values, not only do you have the template, which I could use, let's say, requirements template, why not? But here they give you a search name. And the search name, you can really look for everything. So here I would say requirements, no search value. And if I generate the documentation for this here, so I would just do it for this element, element, advanced rich text document. And you see that the system has looked for all requirements in all of the model. So you are not limited to just storing your requirements in one sub-package. You can have them all over the place, but still get the documentation in a clean way. So now the thing is, well, but how do I create my own searches? Yeah, it recognizes. So, but why does it recognizes it? Because you can do your own. Yep, that's true. So here, if I say search, you see you have the model search window, which allows you to define, manage, and run model searches. It just happens that the requirement search is a built-in search, right? But you can also do your own searches. So to do your own searches, just say builder, and you can do whatever stuff here. And notice this here, the little SQL tab. And this is where you can extract documentation from anything you can dream about inside your model. Because here I could say select star from T object. And if I run it, I would get an output of everything that's into my Enterprise Architect model. And if I say select star from object, where object type equals package, just pretty magic, I get all my packages and name like. So here it depends on your database, but if I say look like case, oh damn, and there it's because I am using Access as a database. This would depend. If you use Oracle, you would have something else. You see here I have everything that looks like case. And you can save your search. So it's about manage search. I think I can save it this way here. Yeah. So my search name would be, let's say, sample SQL search. SQL editor. Just yeah. This is powerful, but not yet very nice. Sample SQL search. SQL editor. All right. Then he knows it. And I could also export the search to send it to someone else, so this other person can use it. And this search, if you go to the doc generation, in this requirements, it should appear in here, sample SQL search. And so from here, you could really save everything. Element advanced rich text report. So now I haven't tested this, but we may. Oh yeah, there is a problem. What is the problem here is that your query has to output two specific fields to get things back. So not sure I'm going to go into that. Yeah. In fact, you can go very far with this. If you create parts and so on, you can create also pre-made parts so that people can reuse them. So the model document bit is really interesting. And if you want part 3 before part 2, you can do this. So just reorder your parts the way you want. And same as if you want to reorder these bits here, you just cannot do this from here, but you can do it from the properties. Yeah, I should have it F9 because it's way too long here. So you can put this before that. Right. So let's check here. Yeah, you can count things. Yes, you can do that. There's no issue. So if you want to count things, you can count, but you should put the result into the fields, the system one. So let's check back this anyway. There is some help about this, not very well structured. The thing is, you need to output 2 fields. I don't have them in this machine. I have created that elsewhere. Yeah, so SQL editor, right. Yes, this is what you need. So here, you need to output whatever you want, but you have to output this as class GUID and class type. That would get you stuff out. So that's very important to do this. Just create search definitions, go a bit down, and you see here, you also have placeholders, so you can do these searches with placeholders from here. While we are on the subject of documentation, there is something that really I'm finding myself again and again doing. Is, for example, in your master template. Let's go back to my master template, which is basically here as well. So, and in my model templates, sample master here. Let's say I want to put the name of the company I work for or the current client. I would modify my document template. I would say, let's say produced for and the client name. And here you see there is this project constants thing that's very helpful. So to define these, you need to go to the document generation dialog. So say fate. All right. And from here, you have here this tab, which is the project constants. And so I would say my company zip Octane and my product. I'm not sure it was blank, so we'll just make it to be sure. All right, close. So now if you go to your templates, I would, no, not here. If you go to your templates, you should be able to insert project constants very easily. Of course, the usual view, field names here, otherwise it will not let you insert. So my company, and so you can make generic templates once and for all, and with all these placeholders being set. So if I do now my generation for my master document, which should be in here, all of my spec, generate this. Okay. So I have to wait. Hope it will not bomb on part 3. Maybe it will. Okay. So here you see that produce for iOctane, product level, sample, Acme Super Widget. So this is really helpful for generalizing your templates and not spending your time recustomizing templates for people that are consultants among you is quite helpful. Just see a little message here. Okay. So right. Another bit which is interesting is that for some diagrams, let's say in the project browser, here, let's say, due to my sandbox, create home. I like to create some home diagram, and so usually I put extended custom here. It's also always helpful to have a diagram that opens when the system opens. So you would say diagrams, advanced, make model default. So now every time I would open my project, I would go to this home diagram. And so maybe you saw it on the community site. Someone created a system where you have a home and home diagram into all locations, and by clicking around you can have kind of web browser structure. It's very good when you do this for web publishing. But let's see here, let's show you some tricks before we part away. I could, for example, use a boundary. So sample. This boundary is very helpful for structuring your space. So let's say here I need this, and here I need another boundary. All right. By the way, you have here a toolbar which can help you do this. Is the toolbar, I guess, where is this? UML elements, I think. Yeah, and you have this boundary available all the time. So here I could say my sample, import on documents, and here I would say key links. Okay, so right, this looks like a bit dull, so let's make it better. Just double click on it, ask for a solid fill, which would be nicer. Here, same story. Okay, okay, and let's make this look like a bit rounded. You can select the shape, and if you do this rounded rectangle, it's a cool looking boundary. So let's say this boundary would do it like blue here. Import on documents, I would say it's nicer, it's just plain white, and key links here. So import on documents, well, you may have documents put onto your file system. Let's say here, maybe on my documents, not all users, but my documents, mine. So if I go to this Kung Fu webinar, I would say, oh, this RTF here is very important, and I want to have a reference to it here. You could go the hyperlink way, just create an hyperlink and open and so on. Just don't do that. Just take the folder, take the file, just drag and drop as an hyperlink, and just say, you can see it here, but open file. So you could have directly here an hyperlink to a document. Same story, it works also as this for folders. So for example, I work with clients, they have a lot of requests for commands, RFCs and projects and so on, and I create a home thing where I have a reference to all their material, and if you click on this here, it opens directly. So very useful also. Here it's a generated documentation, so you could also have this for users. And key links, yeah, you can also create hyperlinks here, like that. But you can also take a location in your model and come here and, oh yeah, no, not like that. I have the control selection disabled. So here, oh damn it. Oh, I'm taking a package, stupid. So here, you could have a diagram, just come here and create it as hyperlink. So you would have your key links here. Well, kind of ugly, so ask properties. Just say hide icon. So, and type something in here. So neat diagram. Okay. And so there, it looks like good. And of course, we want to have the same look as here, so you may want to paint it blue like that, and maybe underline it a bit so you have a neat diagram link. And to avoid having this moving around, you just say selectable no, selectable no, selectable no, and so you have a neat diagram, but you can still click on the little items. If you don't want people to move these around, so just you can lock the diagram as well. So properties of the diagram, and I guess somewhere we have this lock diagram. Don't remember where. So also here I would say, yeah, it's nice, but it's ugly, these boundaries. I want to make a big boundary here, which is around everything, and I want to fill it like this. Oh Jesus, it's in front. Okay, I can put my color, this one, so it will be perfectly fully ugly. And now I want to reorder, so I could send it to back. But thing is, sometimes you have so much elements that it's really a nightmare. And so here, there is a way for you to modify the order of all elements. So if you go here, yeah, sure. So lock here, there, good. So here you cannot move things anymore. But I will unlock it, otherwise I would really be with problems. Here you can say modify the order, and here you see everything. You can make this move up, down, and you see the little numbers, because sometimes it's very hard to understand where is what, right? So this is a good way to reorder your stuff, you see here. So it evolves the way you want. So I guess we're coming to an end on this one. And just one interesting bit I find, when you work, you usually have all your windows and you may have your scenarios and so on and so on. And you have to explain that to someone. It's really hard. So let's say window, and you could say either full screen, and then it will move everything out of the way and you have your diagrams in full. So very useful for explaining things to people. Like this, you have a very, very neat element. So window full screen out. Then you will come back to the normal system. So that would be it for today. If you have questions or specific thing to see, just